Hello friends, welcome to Anand Learning Studio. In this video of our series Python Basic to Advanced, we will be learning about another data type, that is tuples in Python. So let's deep dive into the video. What a tuple is. Tuple is an immutable collection of elements. You can Tuples can contain multiple elements of different data types altogether. But once you create a tuple, you will not be able to change it because it is immutable. So tuple is almost similar to list. Only difference between a list and tuple is that a list after creation can be modified, can be changed, but tuple cannot. Okay. The other things like indexing and slicing of tuple works the same as list. So let's first start by creating a tuple. How we can create a tuple? So we can use a small bracket to create a tuple. So suppose I am creating a tuple a equals to, and then let's just create a tuple of one element. So if I'll say a equals to 1, and then if I'll execute it, you will see it will not be created as a tuple. So let's check the type of a. It is integer. Okay. Similarly, if I'll create another tuple of single element a b equals to some string like x, y, z. Here also, although it is created using small brackets, it will be showing the type of b as string. Type of b as string. Why? Because tuples are created using small bracket, but when you have to create only one element in tuple, the after first element you have to put a comma like this. If you will not put a comma, then whatever is the data type that will be inferred by Python. So now if I want to create a variable a of type tuple with one element inside it, so I will have to say a equals to 1, and then I will have to put a comma. Now if I'll check the type of a, it will give me a tuple. Similarly, if I want to create a tuple of one element of type string, I will have to say b equals to, and then I will be saying x, y, z, and I will have to put a comma. And now type of b will be a tuple. So that's how we can create a tuple. A tuple can contain any data type inside it. It can contain like multiple data types altogether. Also it can contain it can be listed also, so you can put another list or tuple or dictionary inside a tuple. Everything is fine. So now let's quickly see an example. I am creating a tuple c equals to 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma some alphabets or vowels, some characters, and let's put another tuple like 4 comma 5 comma 6. I can put another list also. That should not be an issue. But once you create this, it will not complain because hey, you are putting multiple data types. No, it should not, it will not be complaining. But once you create it, you will not be able to change it. Let's create it. So let's check the type of C. It is a tuple, and let's check the elements inside a C. So now we have a C or as a tuple where we have integers, strings, tuples, and list all together in one place. But if I will try to modify any of the element, okay, before modification, let's see how we will be accessing any elements inside of this tuple. So in order to access elements of a tuple, we can use the concept of indexing. Each and every element inside this tuple is having an index value. So from left to right, those index values start from 0 and goes till length minus 1. Okay, obviously you are counting from 0, so the total length minus 1 will be the last index, and from right to left it is minus 1 to minus length. So we have covered more details about how we are doing indexing and slicing in any of the lectures of in the lectures of strings and list. So we will not be going much details about indexing and slicing here in tuple, but let's quickly see some examples. So suppose I want to access the first element of this tuple, so I can say c followed by the square bracket, and I can give the index number like 0. So I'll be getting the first element of this tuple. Similarly, if I want to get the last element, I can either give the length minus 1. So how many elements are there? Let's quickly check how many elements are there. Len of C. I have total 7 elements inside this tuple C. So if I want to access the last element, I can say C of 6. This is also fine. And I can also say C of minus 1. This will also give me the same result, because indexing can be positive or negative. It should not be an issue. Similarly, if I will say C of minus 2, I will be getting the second last element, and C of 2 will be giving me the third element of this tuple. Third element, why? Because counting starts from 0. So 0, 1 and 2. So at index number 2, we have the third element of this tuple. So that's how we do indexing. That's how we access an element of a tuple. And let's quickly see how we can slice a tuple. So suppose if I want to get the first three elements of this tuple, I can say C, and then I want to do first three elements. So I will simply say 0 colon 3, and I will be getting the first three elements, and it will be returned as a tuple only, because we are slicing a tuple. So it will be a tuple. So if I don't give any start index, obviously it is counted as 0. So more details can be found in the lectures of strings and list. Similarly, if I want to slice this tuple for the last three element, I can say minus 3 colon, and I will be getting the last three elements. So last three elements are E, the tuple, and 7, 8, 9. Similarly, if I want to access any of the nested elements in this tuple, like suppose if I want to access 5, so I can say C of minus 2 will give me this tuple, and in this tuple I want to get again minus 2, so I can say minus 2, I will be getting 5. If I want to get any element from this list like 7, I can say C of minus 1. It will be taking me to the last element, that is the list, and in this list I want to get the first element, so index number 0. So that's how you can do the indexing of nested elements also. So that's all about indexing and slicing in tuples. That's how we will be accessing elements in a tuple. Now let's quickly see what happens if you try to modify any element in this tuple. So if I want to suppose modify C of 0 to something equals to 10, in this case I will be getting an error. Tuples are immutable, means once you create it you will not be able to change it. So it is giving you an error, type error. Tuple object does not support item assignment. Okay, because these are immutable, and you will not find any methods to add an element to tuples. So if you say C dot, and if you hit tab, you will see only two methods available in tuple, that is count and index. So these are the only methods which will be applicable on tuple, because count will give you the number of occurrences of a particular index, and count will give you the number of occurrences of a particular element in this tuple C, and index will give you the index value of a particular element. So let's quickly see C dot count, and let's check how many times 2 is occurring. So 2 is occurring only once, so it will return you 1. If any element is occurring more than 1, it will give you that many occurrences using this count function. And similarly, index function will return us the index of a particular value. So suppose if I want to get the index of E, I can say C dot index E, and I will be getting that E is at index number 4. If I say C dot index of A, you will be getting 3. So you will observe that these are the only operations which we will be able to do on a tuple. We can access an element, we can do a slicing of a tuple, we can count the number of occurrences of an element in a tuple, we can get the index value of a particular element in a tuple, but we will not be able to add an element in a tuple, we will not be able to delete an element from a tuple. So when to use tuple and when to use list? Lists are more commonly used when you want to store multiple data types altogether. Okay, and they can be changed. You want to do some operations on those elements, then you should store those elements in a list. But when you want to store some data, multiple data all together in a place which should not be changed by any piece of code, It might happen that you have created a data structure, you have kept some element, and down the line that element got changed by maybe some other piece of code. So in order to avoid that, we should store such kind of data in a tuple. So hope you enjoyed the video. That's about tuples in Python. Please do like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.